Morning. It's the day after the show. I'm back at the office car park cleaning up because before I put the car back over here I wanted to sort of clean off all the crap that had built up on the paving underneath it. Fortunately it's all come off, which is good. Yeah, this is just the amount of crap that I've cleaned up off the ground from underneath the car. My glamorous assistant Ian pouring it out for me. It's basically compost and bits of metal. That's part of the floor. Tasty. So just looking at this, I think all the dirt and the crap that fell out, any oil or rusty bits landed on top of it. So then when I washed it off, it's actually left the car park pretty okay. I think in future, if I'm doing any grinding, I'll put plastic sheet down just to stop it all sinking in, and then I won't have to go through this operation again. Got the offensive area of the car park cleaned up, and now I'm going to unload this car. The winch is holding it at the moment and the tyres are flat. If I winch it down slowly, it's just going to stop there and I'm not going to be able to push it. So my cunning plan is to fit a wheel chock strategically, take the winch off, pull the chock out, and then just hope it rolls all the way down there and stops elegantly just in front of that fence. We shall see what happens. I would do an action video, but it could go horribly wrong. So yeah, let's see. Chocks are removed. I'm just going to let it go now, see what happens. Oh. Nearly. That's quite cool. Didn't have to bother anyone. Holding it with my foot. I'll go get that chock and then hopefully I can shunt it back by hand a little bit. Thought I'd take a video of it actually in nice daylight because now I've got it back. Ta-da! Look how nice that looks. It's the first time I've actually seen it in daylight since I've done all the stuff that I did at the show. So all the cooling stuff's in, all the fuel's in. Don't know whether you can see from there, but my nice shiny painted exhaust manifold thing, heat shield. So that's really good. What let's do now is clean up the office car park a bit, because that's my spare diesel axle. Oops, that's my new diesel engine spare, and it's excellent because it comes with all the ancillaries that you might want as a, box of emergency parts really. So we've got power steering pump, the thermostat housing. I did check mine in a bottle of boiling water and it seems to work, but it's nice to have another one. That pipe on mine was really grotty and it's much better on this one. As is the heat shield, and what you'll see down here with the turbo is the main casting is really nice. On mine, this is like really corroded up, so although there's no play in it, I might at some point swap them over. And then spare starter, solenoid, we've got wiring. One of the wires that I will borrow from this one is... I can't actually find it now. Oh yeah, there it is. That main earth, because mine's perished. Well, it's not perished, but it's kind of fractured off. I needed an accelerator cable for mine. Mine's broken there. That one looks nice until you see this end, and unfortunately the little ball end has come off. So unfortunately I won't be able to use that one. But we have other things like glow plugs, injectors, filter housing, clutch flywheel. Colin, who dropped it off, also gave me a brand new flywheel. Brand new clutch in a box, a Land Rover one. So yeah, it's really excellent to have all of that. So I'm going to load that up on my trailer and then try and get it back to my dad's place so that the office car park is a little bit tidier. At the risk of boring you with stuff that isn't Rover related or like actual fixing stuff related, I wanted to show you these rear quarters because I got these off Colin, the man, the legend, because he's been so helpful with finding me stuff for the diesel. They're repair complete rear quarters, and I'm not sure that you get this with other things like Fords and that. You probably do, but I hadn't seen it before. not only do you get the outer skin of the wing, but you get the actual wheel well itself, like the inner part of the wing, which is that bit up to that seam. Then you get the back side of the wheel well with the top mount for the shock absorber, the towing eye, and the whole reinforcement. And this bit is the inside of the boot floor as well. And then you have the bit where it comes down right to the bottom of the rear apron with that seam which the boot floor welds to, and it goes all the way up to the roof. And then on mine, where that bit is missing, it's included in here. And then from the other side, that's the speaker shelf, and then that forms the rear of the seat on one side. So basically I've got that big chunks of metal for both sides of the car, and the reason that's good is because that's damaged on this side. You've got the big dent here, and I don't know whether you can see it, but down in there it's frilly, and the towing eye bit reinforcement is all gone, and this rear apron's gone. So there are several options. One is that I chop that whole assembly out and fit the new one. The Rover repair method for doing that is that you chop through the E post and the D post, and then you put it in, weld it all together, and make sure those bits are reinforced. What I did when I did the police car, because I had to change the roof anyway, was I actually chopped the roof out here, threw that bit of the skin away, peeled the cant rail up, and peeled whatever that rear rail is up, so that I could drop that whole assembly in from above, so it sat in the bottom of the sill down here, and then welded it all back together. And I did that both sides, but as I say, I was only doing that because I had to change the roof skin as well. So I probably won't do that on those. The other option is that I just section chunks of this. So I chop out the bit that I need for down here, I chop out donor sections for the wheel well and the apron, and then I keep the rest of this for other repairs. And I actually unpick this outer wing here and then graft that in. I don't really want to do that because it ends up being a patchwork. I'd rather do the whole panel, but I'm just thinking about the realistic sort of approach for doing this. It certainly wasn't my first intention. I might wait until the car gets painted to do a full-on wing swap. I think what I'm going to do is just continue to repair the sill, repair these lower bits to MOT standard, and then know that I've got that whole assembly to swap in at a later date if I need to. So I'm all loaded up now. I've got my donut engine, my engine crane, my 2 rear quarters. There's some other bits and pieces that I'll shove in the car, and then I'm going to take it all back to my dad's house and squirrel it away until I need it. It looks like a mess, but I've done a real macrame here. Everything is very, very well secured, and I'm going to take a photo of where the straps are now, and then I can do a few miles, pull over and have a look and make sure that nothing's moved and compare it with my photo. It is, Tuesday afternoon, evening. It's about 6 o'clock. I've just come out to tit around with the car a little bit because I missed it. It has a slight smokiness coming from up here somewhere. I'm going to step away from the car and hope that you can hear me talking. But basically there's a tiny whiff of smoke coming from where I was pointing moments ago. That's the roof, over there. My colleague first noticed it when I was showing off the engine bay yesterday. I haven't yet worked out what it is. I don't really care, to be honest, because the reason I've got it running at the moment is I just want to start getting heat cycles into it and see if I can't A, finish burping off the cooling system, making sure all the air is out of it, and B, I want the block and the crank and the flywheel to warm up and then cool down, so that, at least it's going to do something towards freeing off that clutch. So I'm just going to run it up to temperature. I might jiggle around with the clutch a bit, I don't know yet.
Well, the good news is that there doesn't appear to be any leaks, and it starts nicely from warm or cold. I did just try stuffing it in a forward gear and then turning the starter, and it kind of crabs forwards and tries to start, so I killed it. I did the same backwards, but that's without any of the brakes working, so not even the handbrake is working, so the starter is just rolling the car forwards and backwards. So I don't think there's going to be enough shock in that to get it to break the friction plate off the flywheel. So that's annoying, because I think what that just, you know, shows that really I can't shortcut this. I'm going to have to fix the rear brakes, bleed up all the brakes, and then I can turn the key on with my foot on the brake, car in gear, and come off the clutch, and hopefully that'll be enough to shock the friction plate off. It's really good going to that NEC show, because you get a lot of comments from other people. And one chap was telling me that he used to try and unseize mini clutches off the flywheels by undoing the bolts between the bell housing and the block. Then he said he poured coke in, which I guess because it's acidic will try and digest some of the rust. I don't know whether I'll go to that length, because if I'm under there and already taken the bell housing bolts off, I might as well just pull the gearbox. But it will be interesting to see if that comes up as you know, a known technique for getting these things to separate. But in other news, these are the, I've done with them now. Basically, while I was ill a few months ago and I couldn't work on the car, I did some shopping, and I bought myself some period correct 1980s Roadrunner halogen fog lights. There's a nice little picture of a Ford Orion on the front, and I know it's an Orion because they helpfully put a picture on there as well. Either that or it's a really bad drawing of a Mark 3 or 4 Escort. But I wanted these because when I was a kid, I used to wander around Halfords thinking about the boy racer cars you could buy and all the boy racer like add-ons you could get. So there's some nice fog lights. They came clear, but because I wanted that like 1980s French look, well, not necessarily French, but because I, you know, not a big fan of France, but anyway, I had these mounted in here. I thought they went really well with the dark blue. However, at the show, another cool thing that happened was this chap came up to me and said, "Oh, my mate wants me to get rid of these fog lights for him," and they turned out to be genuine original Rover fog lights, which means they come with the right fittings as well to fit into that front underbelly panel. So I'm now kind of halfway between sticking with my original plan of sort of 80s comedy yellow fog lights or original Rover ones. I think I'm being swayed more towards the original Rover ones purely for originality and ease of fitment. Plus all the wiring will work. I won't need to terminate anything else. I can just bosh them in there. So I'm going to wait for that to cool down a bit. I'm going to check my coolant level. Then I might run it up again just to keep that heat cycle process going. I can't remember whether I mentioned that I picked up a stainless steel exhaust for the diesel. Basically, a guy called David on Facebook said he had a full stainless steel exhaust for a diesel, or at least most of it, from the turbo all the way down the centre box middle pipe. Then this is the last box that goes over the rear axle. He didn't have that, but yesterday I picked up this bad boy for 40 quid, and it's a stainless steel exhaust with two obscenely large upswept tailpipes. So on most SD1s, the exhaust sweeps out and comes out over here, and that's what mine should do, but it'll end up looking a little bit more like this one. This incidentally is my wide arch drift car. It used to be road legal, which was, you know, quite a lot of fun, real head turner, but now it's just sort of slumbering. I really need to get it back under cover before we get some more spring showers. But yeah, that's the exhaust. Hopefully it'll fit and it won't look too stupid, but I don't really care because it'll be funny.